today's mood. This is today's mood. Because today we finally had a setup that was worth something. So let's get straight into it. I want to recap how we were able to finally find a decent opportunity to catch something, man, because this week has been kind of crazy. So same model, same approach every single day until we get some good setups. We had a no trade day on Monday. We had a no trade day on Wednesday. Tuesday was okay. Thursday with FOMC and everything like that, or I'm sorry, the aftermath, ended up taking a L. So it's just kind of been a pretty messy week in general, but I had a feeling that Friday was going to be much better. Just because we had some clarity about what would be the higher time frame objective after we had that massive historic sell-off yesterday. So if you guys watched the last recap from yesterday, we saw that we left behind massive fair value gaps on the higher time frames, whether you looked at the 4-hour, whether you looked at the 1 hour, 30-minute, 15-minute. I mean, basically all the higher time frames, we saw a lot of imbalance from that big drop off. So we knew that if we were just patient enough to wait for good confirmations, we could work our way up into that and find a decent trade with the model. So let's take it back to basically the beginning of around 10 a.m., which is my window. So same approach. I wait for 10 a.m. Eastern time every single day, Monday through Friday. And we're looking for a couple of different confirmations as far as, looking for either buys or sells. So the first thing is going to be the 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. 4-hour candle. Now, today we printed a bullish candle from that range of 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. So I'm looking for buys to kind of continue rolling the momentum of that. Again, we have clear targets to the upside with all of those imbalances that we left behind from yesterday. So that's the bias. Number one is looking for bullish price action to kind of continue the momentum from 6 to 10. The second thing is we're going to be paying attention to what happens with Asian session. We saw that we basically chopped the high of Asia and the low of Asia during London, pre-New York, all that. So we basically had full interaction with both sides of Asia. But in this case, since we're looking for bullish price action, as I've mentioned before, we want to look for price to fake below and come back above and or break above the high. One of the two scenarios in this situation where we have the 10 a.m. open price, which is this green line right here, in the middle of the range, we would probably just need to wait for Asia low to reverse, shift structure, and then break back above 10 a.m. open price. Now, something important to note, and this could definitely stump a few people who are learning the model, applying the model, is we need to pay attention to market structure while we're forming these confirmations. Because, for example, we see that we had a liquidity sweep of basically all these pre-New York highs here when we made this little rally above Asia here, ended up taking out all of these early sellers, and then we had this drop off. So once 10 a.m. rolls around, we see a spike to the upside, price ends up dropping back down. Now, a lot of the no trade days today just came from this type of scenario where we have a bullish 6 to 10 candle, but price ends up, basically popping up above 10 a.m. and then breaking back below and forming a bearish candle from 10 to 2. And that's not what we're looking for, right? We're looking to continue in the direction of the previous 4-hour window. So that's why we had multiple no trade days on Monday, on Wednesday, which again, we've already recapped on the prior days. So that's why I've been a little bit careful to end the week as far as not just trusting every single cross back above 10 a.m. to be something to, trust if we don't have market structure at least kind of shifting back into a bullish order flow. Again, we had this low, we came up high, swept liquidity, and then we started dropping off. So even if we pop back above 10 a.m. here, we're still overall finishing a liquidity sweep and showing a lot of momentum to the downside. So when we see this next move here, where we start dropping, we take Asia low again here, and then we start to pop up above. I personally did not want to take a buy off of that. Again, simply because there was really no market structure shift. There was no reversal patterns that we were really seeing here. So I could have missed potentially a trade here, but luckily I didn't execute a buy here. Price started moving slightly in our direction at first, then we start coming back below. Now, something important to note as well is we had a really big fair value gap on the 1 minute down here, which was a little bit suspect as well. So, as long as that stayed there, that was also a risk for trying to buy a little bit early today. And we got to keep in mind, we've been in an overall downtrend on NASDAQ, for a while. So, we really need some significant market structure shift and something that really convinces me that we're ready to turn around. So if we have anything like inefficiencies like this left behind, again, it just makes the situation a little bit suspect for me to want to, just buy at the first little sign that we start crossing back above 10 a.m. So yeah, basically price ends up dropping and we start breaking down into that fair value gap. Get some more rejections, and eventually price ends up coming up one more time. Again, you could argue, hey, why wouldn't we go for a buy here? Well, if we notice, even on a 1 minute time frame, we didn't really break. We kind of just wicked up into it, rejected again. Again, there's really no significant reversal pattern that we see here just yet. And again, luckily I didn't take that entry either. And now we take this low. So once we take this low, at this point in the day, I was of the mindset that we might just basically be continuing the same thing that we've seen all week, which was, yes, we had a bullish 4-hour candle, from 6 to 10, but the overall downtrend is just still too strong. Price ends up, basically engulfing and breaking back below. But the candle's not over, we're at this point where it's like 10:35. So the day is still very, very early. And, if we end up crossing back above, then we might have a trade. So we take that low. And really, since we took that low, price really just started to turn around. It didn't really look back after that. Now, here's the first sign that we might start to go and activate our strategy. So confirmation wise, we pull it up right here. Again, 6 a.m. candle from that 4-hour time frame. Are we bullish or bearish? In this scenario, we are bullish. So we're looking for buys. Now we need Asia again to support this bias. If we're looking at the low and we're looking at buys, I want to see price raid below, close back above. And that shows us that, price may not want to come back down again. And we can have that confirmation for buys. The third thing is VWAP. So at this point in time, we see VWAP kind of go flat here along all this price action because we had all this consolidation around market open. So we need to see price cross back above that VWAP. We need to stay above Asia, and then we need to start seeing closures above 10 a.m. open price. And yeah, basically just a little bit more patience. So get another rejection of low. We start to respect ultimately this low point here. And now we're starting to really kind of head in the direction of looking for a trade here. So we get this candle. And at this point, now we're really starting to see price cooking, because if you notice, the previous low from 6 to 10, price has now raided that low and is starting to close back above our open price for this 10 to 2 window, okay, which is basically, again, we can see this low right here. Price sweeps that and starts making a market structure shift. So again, Asia, we broke below, ended up shifting structure back above it. We've crossed above the VWAP, and now we're breaking above 10 a.m. open price, okay? So at this point, we are pretty much green lighted for us to look for entries. A 50-point stop, obviously, seems a bit tight in this situation just because, the overall volatility for the day is pretty high. I mean, we already saw basically from this high to this low about what, like 400 points, almost 400 points here. So, uh, yeah, it's a pretty significant thing. So we start seeing price kind of sit around here a little bit. Now, if we can get that cross and we can start to also break structure again above this high, those are all good signs for this trade here. All right, so price drops a little bit here and we start to see it come back above. And at this candle is the actual time where I was like, okay, this looks like about as good as we can get as far as price being ready to line up with everything we're looking for. Again, price crosses, tries to reject, ends up crossing back above. But we have our stops below this low, which is good if this trade is going to end up working out. And we're looking to target 2-to-1 minimums. We do have this high point, which is the previous 4-hour high. So that's a good point of reference, which also happens to be over a 2-to-1. So at that point, we're already in clear water. If we can even just break that high, secure a position, and basically try to see if we could squeeze more out of it, depending how it reacts after taking that high. Again, we do have all these fair value gaps to the upside here. So in reality, we really could see price form a really strong risk to reward potential trade here. 2-to-1s are my minimums. If I can do 3-4R, I'm really happy. So just kind of taking it as it goes and trail stopping along the way. So we get a little bit of a rejection here as well. And now price starts to move. So at this point, we're headed towards Asia high. And now we start to really break Asia high as well. So this is really good confirmations right here that we do want to see for this trade. And then eventually we end up taking out this high. So as soon as we take out this high, we still see price showing willingness to break above it. At this point, for a 2-to-1 risk to reward, we definitely don't want to see price pull back below this. I definitely want to see price stay above this as much as possible, but I don't want to give back more than a 2R on this trade. So at this point, a 3R would be around here. And then a 4R would be here. Again, for me, a 4R is like, I gotta close that unless price is really just continuing to show strength towards that. One thing I don't have marked up here is the beginning of the 4-hour fair value gap, which we could see starts right here. And I think right around there was a 4-to-1. So that was definitely a price point that I wasn't trying to really mess around with. Seeing it go past that, or seeing it hit that and then reverse, right? So again, we go 2-to-1. And price from that point on, we see just continues momentum. Eventually we hit 3-to-1. And then shortly after, we end up tapping 4-to-1 right there. Again, once we start tapping into this 4-hour fair value gap, I'm good. So at 4R, out of that trade, not looking to hold any further. And in the aftermath, if you guys, like, I just fast forward through price, it ends up coming back to Asia high, and then eventually breaking past above that. So we could have obviously made more on this move if we really, held through and through. However, we don't really know how price is going to react once we take out a 4-hour fair value gap. I mean, you can see as soon as we touched into it, we gave a really strong rejection, basically back to entry. So it's really easy to say that you would hold that trade through and through, but to be up 4R and then basically almost hit break even, that's not easy to stomach, especially if you have not secured any profit at that point. So yeah, obviously we missed out on a lot more, like basically double the move. But if I can secure 4 times my risk, I'm taking that every day. So yeah, man, finally to end the week, we got a move that really just follows the model through and through. Again, if we really, in hindsight, now look at all the confirmations again, we see a, well, let me bring it back a little bit so we could show that other 6 to 10 window. But that 4-hour candle from 6 to 10 was bullish. We saw price cross back above Asia, cross back above the VWAP, start to break and close above 10 a.m. price. At that point, we execute, look to make at least double or more of our risk. And that's it. Again, same model, same strategy, same approach every single day. And this week was definitely much tougher than the week before. But if we recap again, Monday through Friday, Monday, no trade. Tuesday, we had a 2-to-1. Wednesday, no trade. Thursday, -1 R. And then today, we had a 4 R. So all in all, we had about a total of 5 R with the strat. So 5 R is not shabby at all. Obviously, depending on what risk you're using, if you're using 1%, you could be up 5%. If you're risking 0.5%, you could be up 2.5%. Just really depends how aggressive you're trying to be. Obviously, if you're passing evals versus having a funded account, you may want to be more aggressive on evals versus your actual funded accounts if you're trying to, not take a losing streak that basically sets you back. Obviously, if you're using a 1% risk of the account, you're not really giving yourself much room for a losing streak at all. All right, so that's very important to keep note of. But sometimes when we're on the eval stage, we obviously want to not spend too much time on it. We want to get straight into it and get good setups. Obviously, you can also use a dynamic risk. If you want to build up a bit of a profit buffer, and then you risk a little bit more as you create that profit buffer, that's fine as well. It just really depends how you're trading. Obviously, if you're using certain firms that have intraday trading drawdown, you do have to manage these positions much more aggressively with trail stops. You can't really give back too much on these pullbacks. Other firms don't really have intraday trading drawdown, which are a lot more friendly in general, but especially for this style where we might have pullbacks and we're not necessarily trying to close 1 Rs, half Rs with a high win rate. My approach is really more so risk to reward based, and if we can even win somewhere in that 50 to 60% range, it's a good spot to be in. So yeah, man, hope that you guys found some clarity throughout these last recaps this week. We're going to keep this going as a standard for the foreseeable future, so that way we're able to, again, showcase the model, showcase the way we look for these trades within the community. If you guys want to actually learn through pre-recorded content, if you want to trade live with me Monday through Thursday, Mondays in Spanish, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays in English, you guys can hit the link in the description to get started with Akashex where I stream. But other than that, make sure you guys leave a like. If you made some money on this setup today, go ahead and comment your result. Make sure you're subbed to the channel. And let's turn up this weekend. We had a good week when it was all said and done. So see y'all on the next one.